Hi, I'm Christopher Kent. Welcome to Flea Market Mania. We're here at the Big Top Flea Market in Tampa, Florida. And right over there are treasures to be found. Let's go see what we can find. Come on! I'd like to welcome you to the show, sir. And your name is?
Jim Runkle.
Nice to meet you, sir. And what did you bring me?
I believe this is an Adolf Hitler SS presentation knife.
Well, it is in point of fact, absolutely. What you've got right there is the sign of the SS. Right there, you do have the Nazi insignia right there as well. How'd you come by this?
I bought it at a, one of the veterans died and his wife sold off the estate, and it was one of the items that I was able to purchase.
I see, and I always like to put the guest on the host, the guest on the spot, and ask you what you paid for it.
It was either $60 or $80.
Okay.
I'm not sure
or
which.
Somewhere in between there.
Yes.
All right. You do in fact have an authentic piece. You will also see, and it's very difficult to see, but you're also going to have the German mark on the side here as well. Fabrication in Germany as well. And these were given out as, for the most part, souvenir pieces, either to members of SS and or SS-related people during the Second World War. Any World War II memorabilia now is very big as far as a collectible item is concerned. Right. We are unfortunately losing that whole fighting force. And when that happens, anything that is related to that particular war becomes more valuable, becomes more collectible. Yours is always going to be collectible because it is in fact a legitimate issued SS piece with the insignia right here. It is in excellent condition. I would say it's probably nickel and in seemingly perfect condition. Your $60 to $80 that you paid for it is way under what this would be valued at.
That's
and
good.
I would put this particular piece at about $250 to $275 for this particular one. It's an excellent one, and take good care of it. It's only going to increase in value.
Okay, fine.
Thanks very much for bringing it to us. Yeah, it's a great piece. Perfect. Your
Ron
name?
Manion.
Ron, sir, and the name of your business?
The Manion's International Auction House.
Well done. Now, tell us what we have here, and then this is all, we'll tie in what's happening here with here.
Okay, well, I think as you can see, these are fine quality white porcelain pieces. The interesting historical connection with these pieces is the fact that they were made in Germany in World War II, actually made and designed by people from Dachau concentration camp. You can see the SS logo here on their catalog. This is sort of a stylized swastika that goes through the design here of this brown.
Yes.
Yes. And this horse also has the trademark of the SS runes and the company named Alak. This company is still in existence. The name of this company is Rosenthal. So every porcelain piece you buy, this Rosenthal, was made at the company that was ran by the SS in World War II. Of course, no longer that, and they still produce fine porcelain. The detail and quality and artistry of this is unsurpassed.
Second to none. Absolutely right.
SS Alak porcelain is known as the best in the world that was produced in the 20th century.
Now, this is my trick question for you. Was it Rosenthal before, and then Rosenthal afterwards, and then this during the duration of the war?
That's correct.
Okay, good. So
That's
people
correct.
would recognize this as a Rosenthal piece, quote unquote. Yes, with the exception of the probably from 1936 to 1945, 45,
Yeah.
which would have brought everything to a close. With this particular, it has dual significance, not only being a fine piece of porcelain, but also the fact that it has incredible historical significance as well.
Absolutely.
And with that in mind, how do you put a price tag on that? We can say, all right, this is the value of a good piece of beautiful white Blanc de Chine porcelain made by Rosenthal from the 40s, 30s, 40s. Now, where do we go from there as far as putting that price tag on it?
Well, it has double value. The Rosenthal piece has its value in itself.
Right.
The second part of the value is the historical connection.
Absolutely.
And the limited value, what survived the war, is how this is evaluated, the number of collectors, supply and demand. We put these things on our internet auction site that reach the world. This allows a worldwide audience. All the collectors who deal in this stuff subscribe to our auction service,
I understand.
and so they set the price.
And also, very good. And also, which is interesting to know, as far as which is going to affect the price as well, is a lot of things manufactured during that time, particularly under Nazi hands-on, have been destroyed for one reason or another. And so with that in mind, what kind of price tag are we looking at for this particular piece?
The approximate asking price of this is somewhere between $3,500 and $5,000.
Absolutely where it should be. Pinpointing that particular spot, good luck on that. I want to thank you very much for sharing it with us. It's a great piece.
Yeah.
We're teeing off with hand-painted Nippon when we come back. We're back and I'm speaking with...
Russ Heckman,
Nice to meet you, sir. The name of your business is?
Nippon, etc.
And it is indeed. Tell us about... Well, maybe we should work... Let's work up to this.
Okay.
How about that? Let's start with this one right here.
Well, here we have a very unusual smoke set, Nippon Air. It has the green emerald wreath mark, which was manufactured in the Noritake studio in Nagoya.
In what time period, please?
This was around 1910, 1915.
And how many times did the mark change?
The marks that we're primarily interested in are the maple leaf mark, which was the first mark out of the Noritake factory, and then we went into the emerald wreath mark, which are the primary marks
primo
that we
ones,
want to buy.
absolutely.
Right, the primo marks. The golf set is unusual in the fact that it is complete. It has the under tray with the gallery watching the golfers. We have the ashtray with the man golfer. We have
The poor old caddy
little,
guy.
right? The little
Yes.
caddy. And then, of course, we have the ladies on the big piece, on the cigarette holder. The ladies are actually out in their Victorian garb, and they're having their round of golf that day.
Perfect. Now, this is transfer and hand paint work as well.
Correct. These are hand painted. These are not transferred.
Okay.
These are hand painted.
Very good. Now, we're going to move. Now, should one find one intact like this, which is great and rare and unusual, what kind of price tag are we looking at
We're
for this?
looking at $1,500 to $1,800 on a set
Not
like
bad.
that, complete.
Not bad. Now, they were also known for making extraordinary one-of-a-kind pieces as well, and
Right.
that's what we have right here. So what are we looking at here?
This piece is extremely rare. This is right now known to be the only one to exist with this particular molded relief pattern on. We've got the eagles sitting on top of a mountain, and we've got, I believe, 5 eagles, and they're sitting on the molded in relief mountain. The piece is a good size. Again, it is the emerald wreath mark.
There we go.
Again, a lot of the molded relief was made in the 1910, 1920 era.
Perfect.
This piece, as far as value, we're getting into $11,000 to $12,000.
For the simple fact is that this is probably a one-of-a-kind
One of a
piece.
kind.
And it was done as the prototype model for, and then probably never happened
done.
beyond that.
Exactly.
And that lends just an incredible amount of value to these kinds of pieces. You have a brilliant, brilliant collection. And
Thank
you
you.
very much for sharing them with us.
Thank you.
It was a delight.
Thanks.
I would like to welcome you to the show. And your name is?
Mary Frances.
Mary Frances, you brought some lovely things here. Let's start with this one. What can you tell me about it, and then I'll fill in the blanks.
I bought it at a flea market for $5.
Did you really?
Yes.
Boy, I gotta start shopping where you're shopping. Now, do you know anything about it?
No.
Have you flipped it over and seen what's on the back here?
I was told it was Nippon.
It is Nippon, yes indeed. And we also have the mark Nippon, hand painted, made in Japan, right there telling us everything we need to know. Now,
Okay.
do you know anything about Nippon?
No.
All right. First of all, Nippon was manufacturing in the 19th and 20th century. The earlier the better is always good. You've got a very nice early piece. Your piece is done in the style of porcelains that were coming out of Europe. They were very, I'm not quite sure why they felt it was necessary to do an imitative style of European, except there was already a built-in market as far as that was concerned. The Japanese, Asian porcelains have always been beautiful, but they really did corner in on the market. This was a relatively expensive piece when it was purchased originally, and I would say that this particular piece is probably the first quarter of the 20th century, as opposed to any older than that. The mark on it is an indication of that with the rising sun. That's going to put us between 1900 and 1925. Okay? The quality of the porcelain is very, very good. It is done very much like the European style as far as manufacturing is concerned, and the decoration is this beautiful cherry blossom design. Now, you got lovely gold work on this. It's in excellent condition. And you paid how much for this?
$5.
$5. You did very, very well. This is a would have been one of many other pieces that would have gone with this as a serving piece, and would have been either for condiments and condiments here, little sandwiches there, or crudité, things like that. This piece today, as we speak, is about $175. Not bad. Now let's move right over to here. What do we have here?
This is the Currier and Ives that were given to my mother from a very dear friend of hers, and they were her mother's. And it was in the back.
The nice thing is, yes, you put all that information right on the back here, 1953. Well done. I like when people put all the important information that we need right on the back. But first and foremost, let's look at this and see what we have. Most people are familiar with Currier and Ives as in black and white prints, colored prints, and it was reproduced in all shapes, sizes, configurations, and all sorts of things. What you have here this was pressed gold foil that was hand colored and or colored in the pressing process. This has no additional coloration on it besides the black, which would have been applied during the printing process. And they've got this lovely three-dimensionality here, this raised look of the trees and the architecture. It was another way, quite frankly, of capitalizing on the great success and popularity of Currier and Ives. Currier and Ives started in the 19th century, and they are continued to be popular to this day. Now, as far as price is concerned on these, the condition of them is very good. They're very decorative pieces, and the fact that you've got the addition of the information on the back is always good as far as dating them is concerned. And I would say that these are post-Second World War. This gold embossed work, and I would put these at about $125 each.
Okay.
Not bad.
Not bad.
I want to thank you very much for
Thank
bringing
you.
them in. They're lovely pieces. For all you basket cases, Native American art, when we come back. We're back, and I'm talking to
Bob Willett. Hi.
Bob. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Kent. Good to meet you.
Kent.
Yes.
The Christopher Kent.
Well, in some circles, yes.
You got a big S on your shirt?
No, that was a relative.
That's Clark
No,
Kent.
that was Clark, yes.
okay.
Just second cousins. Tell us about this beautiful collection here.
Well, actually, these are all Indian. They go from date-wise about 1880s up to about 1920, which is the canoe. This is Penobscot, Maine. This is California. That's a hat, believe it or not. This is called a treasure basket, and this is from the missions in California. This is from Nootka. These are the great sailors that used to go out and hunt whales. I don't know if you've seen their picture.
Oh, yes, yes.
And this is birch bark, and this comes from the same area, which is Maine. This is actually called Micmac, and this is Penobscot.
Beautiful. What is the material that's used in these baskets?
You have about 4 different materials,
Good.
actually. You have birch bark.
We have the birch
from
bark.
The tree. You have 3 different types of stuff here. They would use different gathering type.
Okay. But it's a coiled basket technique.
Yes.
Okay, coiled and then wrapped.
Yes.
Gotcha. And this is Navajo?
No, this one here is mission.
Okay.
When the Spanish took over California, they
I'm with
started
you.
missions, and then they brought the Indians to live there. And these were sold as to both tourists and also to any of the local people.
Incredible. The uniqueness of this shape. Tell us about this. And the design significant?
Well, yes and no. They do have names for the designs, but I honestly don't know the design name.
And what age are you putting? You're putting this in 19th
That's about
century.
About 1880s, 1890s. Yeah.
Perfect.
The more contemporary would be this, and this is 1920s. This
Okay.
basket.
Now, as a utilitarian item, we got one price tag. As a work of art, we have another. How are you pricing this one?
These here right now go about $800. I'm pricing it at $400 for the obvious reason we don't have all the upkeep, and it's cheap to set up here. So
Absolutely.
there's the discount. Don't have a store. I just do this so I can further my education.
As in Southwest art and so forth, these particular pieces will start anywhere from about $1,500 for a very small basket and go way up.
Oh yeah,
And
the new ones actually are as expensive as the old ones.
absolutely, and these are treasures as a way of art, as a culture, and as an art form. And I want to thank you very much for sharing them with us.
My pleasure.
What a
Thank you,
delight.
Mr.
Welcome you to the show. Thank you. And your name is?
Betty Dietrich.
Betty, nice to meet you.
Nice
You've
to meet
brought
you.
some really fine pieces here. What can you tell me about them?
Well, the Shokin dolls was given to my youngest sister, and she was approximately 6 years old. And she has had these wrapped up in a closet for all these years. So she gave them to me because I have an Indian collection. And I thanked her very dearly.
And she gave them to you.
Yeah.
Now, you did you have this in writing? Did you have to sign a release or something for
No,
these?
no.
Because what she's given you actually are incredible prizes.
Isn't that wonderful?
Absolutely wonderful pieces. But the great thing about these is it's telling us, for the most part, what we need to know, which is printed on the foot of the doll itself, and it says Skookum on the bottom. And as far as manufacturing is concerned, do you know approximately how old these are?
No, I don't.
Yeah. The manufacturing of these is, for the most part, early 20th century. Some were even older than that. But with this mark on them, you're looking at about the first 25 years of the 20th century. And the condition of these is really quite extraordinary. The fact that you have the papooses as well is in itself very unusual. 9 times out of 10 they were separated, and you don't find one without you rarely find them together. The condition of these, number one, is really quite incredible. For people that are not familiar with these were made in various shapes, sizes, and configurations, and they have to have the authentic trademark Skookum Indian on the foot to make it the real thing. Because there were copies, there were knockoffs. When we saw something was selling, there was a way to cash in. Other companies were doing that as well. Ever had these appraised?
No.
That's why I asked if you had to sign something when she gave these to you, because you have a veritable small fortune as far as these goes. Appraised today at auction, I would say a conservative price for the 4 pieces, you're looking at about $8,000. Gasps galore, absolutely. Absolutely, a veritable fortune. They're very rare. The condition of these are quite fine, and they're very, very unusual to find them in this condition and or to find them at all.
Oh, thank you.
Well done. Now, let's move on. We've got a great backdrop scene for these pieces right here. And what do you know about this particular piece?
I know that a friend of my husband's gave that.
Well, wow. We want to hold on to these, absolutely. All right, a friend of your husband's gave this to you.
It's about 17 years ago, and told him to just hang on to it because it was good.
As we're
piece.
talking, I want you to hold on to this. It
Okay.
is a good piece. The fact that we do have a signature here, we also have a date. What you do have here is a pastel of a stag. This actually subject matter was very, very popular in the first 20 years of the 20th century. That's 1908 as opposed to 1808. Okay, we know that stylistically because of the interpretation of this. This came from a very important engraving that came from the 19th century. And so what your artist here has done is he simply made a very good pastel drawing of that particular piece.
Wonderful.
The original was a German piece. The stag's very important as far as decorative art was concerned in Germany. And this is really quite fine as far as the rendering is concerned. The name, the signature on it, I am not familiar with, though, so I would say that he's probably not in the books as far as that goes. But we're then looking at a piece as a potential value and also its artistic value as well. And this is really quite fine as far as the work is concerned. It looks to be in its original frame, and the condition of it is good. We have no foxing, no discoloration, no breakdown in the paper. All those things are good. Good things. So bottom line, I'm going to put a price tag of this one at about $475 for this one. Very, very nice. And you can laugh all the way to the bank with those. I want to thank you very, very much for bringing me in. Made my day. Thank you.
Thank you.
What a treat. I'm talking to
William Brimfield.
William Brimfield, nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
With an absolutely beautiful collection of arrowheads here. Tell us about that one in particular.
This particular arrowhead is a Hopewell spear point from Ohio. It's made from Flint Ridge chalcedony, which is a gem grade quality flint.
Beautiful.
It's about as good as flint gets. It probably was a ceremonial piece.
Aha, okay.
And it comes, time-wise, roughly about 800 BC to about 800 AD, and around that.
It has a little age to it.
It's a little
yes.
old, yeah. It's an antique.
And an absolutely immaculate condition. Do you know where this was found, in what condition it was found?
It was found, as you see it, covered with dirt in Mahoning County, Ohio, back in about 1940.
Incredible. And how long have you had it?
I've had it about 2 years.
And it's time to sell it.
Time to
That's
move
all
it
there is
along.
to it, all right?
Time to move it along.
You have the number, give us a call. We've got an arrowhead for you. What else in this collection, which is really beautiful?
Being that we're in Pennsylvania, and that's where I'm from, most of this stuff is from the Susquehanna River Valley. It's typical, a lot of it's archaic in nature, which would put it back 3,000–4,000 BC.
Incredible.
Very old. And the styles and shapes sometimes will depict a certain culture.
All right, for example, yes.
For example, this is another Adena. This has a rounded stem and it's beveled, and this is an Ohio culture. However, they walked them into Pennsylvania, and we find
as opposed to this cut.
This is
here.
more like a Hopewell again, with the little corner.
Notched in.
Right.
Yes.
Again, Ohio material found in Pennsylvania. This is atypical of what we find here in York County on the islands. This is a rhyolite material. It's volcanic rock. Bear Island, you would call these, large stem points, and they're probably mostly all 5,000 years old or more.
This one is incredibly intact, with the point almost intact. What is it? What's the approximate age of that?
That again is another Adena style, which would put it 800 BC to 800 AD in that framework.
How long have you been collecting these?
About 15 years.
So you know your stuff.
My hobby.
What kind of collector? I mean, I would imagine these are very specific collectors.
There are many collectors for this stuff. There are some that, for example, stick strictly to what we might call the top shelf.
The beautiful presentation ones, yes.
Many of my customers and friends are into the idea of it, so they're happy to get anything.
Whatever they can get, yes.
Many of them hunt, and I deal with more or less regular guys that just want to collect, and so we have something really for everyone.
Price tag on something like this?
$400 on the Hopewell, and you can go down $10, be about the bottom.
To the ones that are what we consider more rough.
And broken for children stuff, we have for like $1 each in there.
Beautiful, beautiful collection. Thank you so much for sharing them with us.
Yep.